Hello and welcome to the Film Pulse Podcast. This is episode number 206. My name's Adam Patterson. Joining me today, we got Kevin Rakestraw. How you doing?
Hi. Doing fine.
I like that. Hi.
Hello. How are you?
Well, I'm doing pretty good if you're actually asking.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if you were.
No, I was.
Oh, good. Okay. I'm doing pretty well.
Fantastic.
This week on the show, we'll be talking about Terrence Malick's latest, Night of Cups, but first, we'll be speaking with Jimmy Kustes and Timothy Morton of Jimothy and talking about their new film, New Cops, that's available on nobudge.com right now for free. And we'll also be talking about some of what we've been watching on the watch list, movie predictions, new on video on demand, Blu-ray releases. Let's start things off with some news.
Oh, let's get into news.
We're going to do some news, then we're going to hop into our interview, and then we're going to do a review.
Oh my god.
We got so much.
We're all over the place.
We got too much going on.
Can't stop us. Can't stop, won't stop.
I love how we quite frequently make a reference to an MC Hammer song that certainly no one will ever get. Ever.
Yes.
I don't even remember the name of the song. It's called USA Ain't No Stopping Us or something like that. Look it up on YouTube. It's amazing. Oscars. Oscar time.
Oh.
Yeah, so the Oscars happened last week. We recorded last week's show before the winners were announced, before the ceremony, so we're going to follow up this week and just talk about some of the results here.
Some of the old Oscar results there, huh?
Yeah, so best picture went to Spotlight.
Ooh.
I'm cool with that. Interestingly, Fury Road got the most.
It won like everything.
It got
all the technical stuff.
Yeah, all the technical stuff,
which you would
basically.
think would amount to you made the
something
best,
else, like directing.
You would think that it would be best film if every aspect of the film is the best. You would think that if you put all those things together, that would mean best picture.
Yeah, but that's not how this shit works.
That's right, because it wasn't a bunch of white people doing important things.
Yeah, exactly. It was a genre film, so immediately it was good enough that they recognized it, but it wasn't good enough for them to be like, well, we should actually give this an award. No.
Yeah.
It did win sound editing, sound mixing, production design, makeup, costume design, and editing.
Woo.
Yeah, but it did not win Best Picture or Best Director. So Iñárritu won for The Revenant, that's Best Director, 2 years in a row. He won Best Director.
Wow.
Yeah, he won last year for Birdman, so it's kind of interesting.
Let's stop that.
I think that I'm perfectly fine with him winning for The Revenant.
Yeah, I guess so.
Best Actress went to Brie Larson for Room. Best Actor, Leo.
Oh my god.
Finally winning one. He finally won one.
Oh boy.
Guys. The curse has been broken. Leo wins an Oscar for The Revenant.
Thank goodness. Now we never have to talk about it ever again.
I know. Now we're done with it. We can put that whole thing to bed. Supporting actress went to Alicia Vikander for The Danish Girl. Supporting actor went to Mark Rylance for Bridge of Spies.
Which I saw. This
really?
week.
Oh, okay.
Talk about that a little bit. Which I'll just say it. I'm kind of surprised by that one. He doesn't do that much in the movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was kind of excited. I was like, oh, I can't wait to see this performance.
He's the Russian spy that gets captured on our side, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. With an odd accent. And he doesn't say much. He's very low-key. He's just a low-key guy.
All right. Best original screenplay went to Spotlight. Adapted screenplay went to The Big Short. Animated went to Inside Out, of course. Of course.
Obviously.
I think it should have either went to Anomalisa or Boy in the World, but whatever. When Pixar's involved, it automatically wins.
Mm-hmm.
Inside Out wasn't even that good. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
It's the Oscars.
I don't know why I always get so heated over the animated ones, but I do. I'm like...
It's the Oscars. Forget about it.
Foreign language went to Son of Saul. From everything I heard, I have not seen that, but from everything I heard, it's deserving of the win. Documentary went to Amy. Original score, Hateful Eight. Original song, the Spectre one, which I totally do not get that at all. And I know that the whole, like, music's very subjective, but I think a lot of people did not like that Spectre song.
Like, it's the most boring song I've ever heard.
Yeah, it just put you to sleep.
Oh my god.
I mean, it literally put me to sleep, in Spectre. I slept through most of that movie. Best sound editing went to... Oh, we already went over that. Mad Max wins everything. Cinematography did go to The Revenant, though. Which, again, I'm actually kind of cool with.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
What else did it? Visual effects. I went to Ex Machina. I agree with that, too. The visual effects in that movie were pretty awesome.
They were quite good.
Animated short film went to Bear Story. There's one that Pixar didn't win.
Face Pixar.
Suck it, Pixar. Live action short film went to Stutterer.
Okay.
And short subject documentary went to A Girl in the River, The Price of Forgiveness. So there's your Oscars. Pretty boring. I did not watch them on TV.
I saw a little bit, actually, which was weird.
Was it awesome?
No, it was awful.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, you know what? I kind of lied. I did watch the opening monologue, Chris Rock's. I just wanted to watch that, and then I turned it off.
Yeah, that was weird. It was a weird monologue type deal.
Yeah.
Just making fun of people that aren't there for some reason, like Jada Pinkett Smith. Like, what was that all about?
Because she like really came out and was super against the Oscars. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Let's just put that behind us. The 2016 Tribeca Film Festival competition and viewpoints lineups were announced. So this week, the U.S. Narrative Competition, the World Documentary Competition, the International Competition, and then the viewpoints, those are out of competition. But all of those were announced.
Oh boy!
This week. Now we still have a few more programs. The midnight program that needs to be announced yet, and that's going to happen this week. But a couple. I don't know if you had a chance to look at all of these, but there's some interesting stuff on the lineup this year.
I think I saw some. I forget what. I think the. God damn it! Let me look it up now. What was the oh my god, I can't remember her name. Sophia, was it called?
Takal?
Yeah, she has a new movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's called Always Shine.
That's exciting.
And it's written by Lawrence Michael Levine.
Yeah, that's the only thing that kind of worries me, that it's, one of those female two-handers written by a man, psychological drama, Resentments. We haven't seen that before yet.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
I'm worried. And he's in it too. I wonder if he's going to keep the streak of like two women fighting over him. Because every single movie he's in is two women fighting over. We'll see. Dimitri Martin has a movie out?
Yeah. So he has a movie called Dean. That's his directorial debut. I'm interested in the opening night film, Kicks. Sounds like it's right up my alley.
What's that? Didn't we already see a movie called Kicks?
No, we saw a movie called Licks.
Ah, okay. There you go.
Yes, we saw Licks. This is Kicks.
What's Kicks about?
So Kicks is about well, I have it right here. It says when his hard-earned kicks get snatched by a local hood, 15-year-old Brandon and his two best friends go on an ill-advised mission across the Bay Area to retrieve the stolen sneakers.
Okay.
Featuring a soundtrack packed with hip-hop classics, Justin Tipping's debut feature is an urban coming-of-age tale told with grit, humor, and surprising lyricism.
Oh, that's right up your alley.
Yeah.
That is so your alley.
It certainly is. So, pretty excited about that. I mean, they obviously they have high hopes for it if it's the opening night film.
Yeah.
So, there's also High Rise is going to be screening, so finally get to see that. Pretty excited for that.
Yeah. Live Cargo looks interesting. Got Keith Stanfield in a lead role alongside Dree Hemingway. That looks interesting. There needs to be more Keith Stanfield.
Yeah, it's gonna be some good stuff. I need to go through the whole list and I will be attending that this year, so.
There's also a new Nathan Silver and I think Mike Ott movie out. That looks good. I think that's playing Tribeca. Maybe not. I don't know. But whatever. See that.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm gonna try to go see as much as I can.
Get him in.
Usual.
Get him in.
Well, the cool thing about Tribeca, the way that they do their press schedules, is that it's very easy to see a lot of stuff. They do things in a very organized way. Like, everything is in one theater. It's in a Regal, and the way that they do the schedules is that they have multiple screenings. So, like, even if you're in conflict with one where like two are playing at the same time, it'll play again, so you'll have another shot to see it. So you can pretty much see everything you want to.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so it's really cool. I mean, I'm assuming that they're going to do it this year the way they did it last year. So anyway, keep an eye out for our coverage of that beginning in April. Oh, why do I forget? It's April 13th.
Ooh.
Yeah, so keep an eye out. The only other thing I wanted to mention in the news section is the trailer for Ghostbusters came out. Ghostbusters. Did you see this?
I actually did watch the trailer, yeah.
What'd you think?
I just need Kate McKinnon's character, just like for the entire movie, and that's fine. Just let her do her thing.
I noticed a lot of people, or at least from what I saw like in my various Twitter feeds and stuff, people not liking it. People aren't liking the trailer. What they're seeing in the trailer. To me, it seemed fine. Like, it made me laugh. It seems like it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge Ghostbusters fan. I was obsessed with the Ghostbusters as a kid, and I think that maybe people are putting, like, they're holding this one a little too close to the chest. Maybe like they have to realize that it's not gonna be the same. Like, it's just not gonna be the same.
No, not at all. Might even be better. You don't even know. Because you didn't even watch the damn thing yet. It's a trailer, for God's sake.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 2 to 3 minute snippet of what this movie is, and I'm sure before it comes out, we're going to see plenty more trailers, and I think it'll be fine. I think it's going to be fun.
I think that's the only thing that's going to be kind of difficult to handle is, all the trailers coming out. And I'm just worried that they might drive it into the ground before it even...
I'm a little concerned, but probably what I'm going to do is just not watch any more trailers.
I know, yeah. You're just going to have to go into blackout mode.
Yeah.
And just try and ignore everything. But it's going to be difficult because for whatever reason, it seems like on Twitter, certain things, they just get really into. Like, they just pick, like, certain trailers, and it's, like, all they talk about.
Speaking of which, I was so bummed out. I was on a complete blackout on Green Room.
Yeah.
And I even posted the trailer on the site and did not watch it. Like, I've been complete blackout on that. And I went to go see a movie. I can't even remember what movie I saw. But it played the Green Room trailer. And I'm like, what is this?
That was in front of The Witch, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
And that was such a bummer. I was like, oh, man.
You didn't,
and like,
why didn't you close your eyes and put your fingers in your ear and just start yelling?
Nah, well, come on, that's...
Just talk.
I'm not that weird about it, but that was still unfortunate. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to our interview. I haven't done an interview in a while.
It's been quite some time.
Well, we're bringing it back. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah. I don't want to say for sure, but
we're dabbling.
We'll see. Like, I tend to only do interviews with people that I'm actually, like, interested in talking about whatever movie it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's always hard because
you're not
pretty selective about it.
You're not interested in things? Is that what you're saying?
It's not that, but I have to really be interested. Like, I really have to have the desire to engage.
Well, let's say if you had the opportunity, like earlier this week, they're like, would you like to interview Terrence Malick? He's requested that he'll come out and he'll do your show.
I don't think so.
I wouldn't either. I don't want to talk to him.
Yeah, I just don't think so. I don't think that I would have anything meaningful to ask him at this point. So, All right, let's go ahead and jump into this interview. We spoke with Jimmy Kustes and Timothy Morton of Jimothy Studios and had to talk about their new film, New Cops, which is available right now on nobudge.com. Let's take a listen. Jimmy Kustes, Timothy Morton, thank you so much for coming on the show. I just wanted to start off with some intro questions here. So, who is Jimmy Kustes? We'll start with you. Tell the listeners who you are and what you do.
Well, I was a cartoonist for a while. Then I stopped doing that, and then I teamed up with Tim when he came back from Memphis, and when we came to Louisville, we started doing some movie stuff. And it took us about 6 years to do New Cops, which is this no-budget comedy sort of experimental film on nobudge.com. And it's not much to tell for me, Tim.
Yeah, I'm just an independent filmmaker, DIY. I like the guerrilla style, do-it-yourself sort of filmmaking, and I've been lucky enough to work on some higher-budget films that have, like Men Go to Battle, that premiered at the Tribeca Film Festival. But I like to stay busy and make stuff, make movies.
Yeah, I noticed on your website, it looks like you're kind of like a jack of all trades. You seem to have your hands in all kinds of stuff. Like it looks like you play a whole bunch of instruments, and you're into like stained glass. And do you still have a normal day job as well?
Yeah, I work full time in the Louisville Olmsted Parks Conservancy, which is a nonprofit organization that has a small crew, but we work in 18 of our like 100 some odd parks. So I'm actually do a lot of ecological restoration work.
Yeah, he cuts down trees.
Cool. I want to talk about New Cops, because this is a film that was recently released on nobudge.com. Any of you listening can check it out. Kevin, you talked about it a few weeks back. I'm going to talk about it later on this episode, because I just saw it this week. So this movie was originally released as webisodes, right? Over like a period of time.
Yeah, and that was more, I think our decision to do that was kind of so that we had an excuse to post about something on a weekly basis and have new material. And so I think what ended up happening was our friend group on Facebook was able to sort of catch on to it, and it grew a little bit of a life of its own. So then when we released all the webisodes, when we glued them together into the 55-minute feature, like short featurette that it is, it kind of already had a little bit of a cult following.
Yeah, and it was Tim's idea that we just have a behind the scenes that is about as long as the episode itself, like HBO shows at the end of Game of Thrones and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I think it lit a fire under our ass to get the ending done. We had the movie done, but Tim really went out and shot some things by himself. Like David went to Virginia, who plays Flaherty in the movie, and so the plot sort of took on a track that didn't involve David anymore, and so we just incorporated that footage in there as a dream. And then the New Cop scenes were really part of the movie, and then we sort of decided it would be a TV show.
Maybe if we could just step back 1 second and let's talk about what New Cops is for people who aren't familiar with the film or the web series. Maybe you guys could just describe a brief overview of New Cops.
Yeah, New Cops is it's kind of like a weekend in the life of a young man who is struggling to make money, and he's also struggling to get in contact with his girlfriend. And I think both of those are sort of like the white whale, the thing that he can't quite get. But he has a friend that needs a place to stay for the weekend, and he kind of helps him discover a sort of alternate ways of making money. And it's kind of a dry comedic approach to the whole situation. Also with plenty of surreal dream sequences and sort of distractions.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because that was actually going to be the next thing that I asked about. So there are a lot of kind of surreal moments in this movie where the main character sort of drifts in and out of this sleep state where he's having these kind of dreams and fantasies and nightmares. What made you decide to incorporate those things into the film and web series?
Well, honestly, those dream sequences were the movie originally when we started filming this. And that was the direction I wanted to go, but then I found that it would be too difficult. It was too big of a world to continue filming with kind of like with the budget constraints that we had and just like access to actors and whatnot. So we sort of at a certain point I realized that stuff is really good material. It's too hard to build off of all that stuff as it is already, but it was already shot. So how do I incorporate this into a project?
And
so
that's why the corollaries came into place, where we would have like he's cutting a tomato with a knife, and then there's a video game where he's getting, there's a knife involved, and all sorts of like dialogue that takes place in the dream world and also the real world. And really, you could look at it as, if you want to watch it a certain way, you can watch it as that the president is dreaming of being this regular guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's one person's interpretation. Yeah.
Now, did you guys said that you shot this over a 6-year period of time?
I think maybe even 8, because we started filming before Obama was elected. I think this like at least one scene, and I'm proud to say that it was. I mean, I'm not proud to say that it took that long, because what the finished result is not like I'm hoping is not going to be like
noticeable
my magnum opus by any means, but I wanted, it was kind of a project in completing, it was like a practice in completing a project. I'm happy with it though. I still stand by it. I'm not trying to downplay it, but I think my process was just so non-linear that the film is unique for that reason, and that's something that I'm actually happy about.
Yeah, we don't age that hard as adults, so we don't age like Boyhood or anything, but I'm losing and dropping weight all over the place. Tim's got his beard and not got his beard everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just kind of...
I noticed there were a lot of interesting continuity things happening in that movie.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think even the time of year is changing, so like there'll be leaves on the trees, and then it will be like you'll see a Christmas tree in the background, and then you'll see like it just looks like spring, and then it looks like summer, and then it looks like winter again. So that kind of happened.
Well, see, all of that worked for me though. Like I liked that the fact that those things were noticeable, because it added to kind of just the almost absurdist quality to everything that was happening.
Well, I'm glad that was your reaction to it. I hope that's the people who are going to like it are going to like it for that reason, I think.
Yeah. I want to talk about the fake show, the New Cops show that's within the show / movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty meta. I know.
What's going on with that show?
That was also the original movie. I mean, that was the movie that we were trying to make, and then when we gave up on that, we decided we'll just make it a TV show. So we started incorporating it in that way.
I think there's 3 New Cops clips we used, and we put one of them online. Tim might want to put the other 2, but
first there was 1 New Cops, then there was 2 New Cops, and then with the dream sequences there was a 3rd New Cops, and so we made them all 1 New Cops again.
Oh. And
it's actually a trilogy. It's basically a trilogy.
Oh, okay. Is there a possibility that we could be seeing any more of the New Cops show?
I would love to. Actually, the guys that the scene that you see, the first scene in the movie where there's like the first lady and the character Spit Mendez is talking to her about how the president is the host of the swine flu. That scene was like a really fun improvised scene with some of my friends, Bo and Bryce Shell and Hannah Morgan and Josh McClellan, and they basically didn't know what they were getting into when I told them to show up at my friend's house that night, and I gave them a very vague idea of what the movie was about, and they just kind of went to town on it. And they are dying to do more projects with us. So hopefully, yeah, maybe the New Cops saga will continue.
Now, do you guys see yourselves making more content for the internet, like webisodes, like doing a new web series or a New Cops spin-off series or something like that? Or do you want to continue making movies within this realm?
Hey, well, Jimmy, before you go into your super
ambitious plan that never might not happen.
Jimmy started. I could.
But I will say, what I want?
I could sense Jimmy was wanting to talk about this.
I want to do a ton of movies this year. I want to do at least one movie that takes about a weekend to shoot, and put that out.
Okay.
Jimmy's got some great ambitions. I've got such a swath of different things that I'm dabbling in. Kind of what we touched on earlier. I'm kind of got my feet in lots of fires, but there's I think we're geared to be creating content that would be accessible online. I think the next step though, I want to start doing stuff that is a little bit more production value to it. But I don't know.
And I guess that kind of goes along with some of the other acting roles that you're doing, like you mentioned earlier, Men Go to Battle. That comes out fairly soon, right?
Yeah,
that's going to be
out.
It's in Seattle this week till Friday.
Yeah, it does
at the Northwest Film Forum.
Yeah, it's playing in Seattle this week, and that's a real movie. I would say New Cops is kind of a fake movie, but I don't think that really discounts it by any means.
And they both have David in it too, so it's just a happenstance. They're not really related, but hopefully we'll have like several movies with Tim out in this year. He's got at least 2, so.
Yeah, it's just hard. Yeah.
As far as Jimothy Studios goes, do you guys have your next project lined up?
Well, I was actually about to ask Jimmy. Jimmy changed Jimothy Studios to Jim Tim Memes. I don't know what that was about.
Actually, that's our old channel. Our old channel I had all the Super Bowl commercials up because I bought the rights to Superb Al. I own the copyright on Superb Al, and so I put all these Super Bowl commercials up, and then I got 2 copyright strikes because of these 30-second commercials. So that website is now just abandoned, and so we'll probably launch a new Jimothy Studios channel. The movie's on Tim Morton's YouTube right now.
I love using the word launch as like it's basically just like you in the basement.
Yeah,
like just clicking buttons and it's like that launches something. But there's kind of some hilarity I feel like in the behind the scenes of New Cops, and Jimmy was starting to talk about that, where he kind of ruined our standing with YouTube by putting like a tremendous amount of copyright material on it to draw like more clicks, more views, and what ended up happening, I was trying to upload the New Cops, the 55-minute New Cops, and they told, and we
can only put videos that are like 10 minutes long on there.
This was like down to the wire shit. You know, I had to get it uploaded so that Kentucker could put it on No Budge, and my internet was so slow it took like 12 hours to upload it, and then to discover that we were in quote bad standing with YouTube and would be until January of 2017. And that was kind of infuriating, to say the least. Jimmy works his magic, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
I did notice that on several of the videos on there were a lot of keywords that didn't necessarily match what the video was.
Yeah, we're trying to get views, and it's sort of strangely enough, the viral videos I made of I made the Jinx trailer that was a parody of the Jinx, and that's got a lot of views. And we were making some viral stuff I was until Tim got New Cops finished. And he worked like a madman to get it done by President's Day. And we usually launch things on days that correspond with it, because we will put out a table read to this movie with a dog, and then I just so happen to put on the National Dog Day. So that might be a thing we need to do.
I didn't. That was news to me. I didn't know you did that.
I did it on accident. Somehow I put it up on the same exact day as National Dog Day. I was like, oh, that's surprising. But that was a table read we did for a dog cop movie, and it's
I checked that out too.
SudsyOCoolHand.com. Yeah.
Now, does Sudsy take place within the New Cop's realm, or is that just a different cop?
It's a different cop.
It's a different cop movie.
Okay.
We really like cops.
I like the idea of a New Cops expanded universe, like just having
it's a
everything
different,
take
it's a
place
different
within this
Marvel
world.
with a dog.
Well, we were gonna have. I think the New Cops sequel, the spiritual successor to New Cops, was gonna be First Mutant, and it was gonna be about. We don't exactly know. We're about as clear on what First Mutant is as what New Cops was when we started 8 years ago. So I don't know. We might have another movie on our hands in another 8 years or so.
First Mutant was where the clone, Flaherty has puts a bad guy away, and so they use the bad guy in prison as a clone experiment, and he dies, but the clone lives, and so the clone is getting revenge for his original dying, and he's called the First Mutant, and he's got a limited amount of time since clones don't live that long.
That's one person's interpretation of it.
I like it. I wanna see this. Maybe you could crowdfund that. Go to Kickstarter with it.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, have you guys looked into funding in any new projects on crowdfunding? Is that something that you're kind of cognizant of? That's on your radar, possibly?
It's on there. Sudsy O'Coulihan was one we were trying, and then that was not going anywhere, and so.
I think your ambitions were a little too high on that one, Jim. I was trying to tell you that.
Well, I felt like if it's going to get any donations, I made it at like $500,000 just for the fun of it, because I didn't want to have to do it if Kickstarter raises $100, then you have to make the movie on $100. So I was like, just make it $500,000. But we got 0 donations, which was kind of funny in itself.
Yeah.
No, that's kind of sad.
We didn't have it up very long.
Oh, you pulled it down before the end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tore it down.
There was one other thing that I noticed in New Cops, and it was just this kind of offhanded thing, and it was like kind of got under my skin, and it was like kind of bothering me. There's a scene where you send a text message, and the text message just says stat biking, and I was wondering if you knew what that was, or if you could tell me what that was.
Oh, that was the most dream within a dream situation where the Tim character was dreaming that the president character was dreaming that he was a regular man and he was going to the grocery store, and then did it just say stat bike? It said, "What are you doing?" I think if you see the other text, the text previous to that is the person says, "What are you doing?" and it's all on one screen, and then he's saying he's stat biking.
What is stat biking?
It's a stationary bike.
Oh, stationary biking. That makes so much more sense now to me.
You thought it had to deal with statistics.
Yeah, biking. I thought you were like crunching numbers here.
I like that interpretation. That's kind of cool. That's double meaning. He's like crunching numbers.
And just so happens, like Stephen King lets you do movies of his work, like his short stories, if you're like a no-name filmmaker, and Stationary Bike is one of them. And I was like, you should do that.
That actually does sound like a project I want to do. There's a short book novel. What do you call this? Short something?
Stephen King calls them his dollar babies, and you can make a movie of his for $1.
Yeah, you buy the rights to his thing, and you can make it for $1.
Interesting. Did not know that. I'd have to look into that myself.
Yeah, that's Jimmy's handiwork there.
Do you want to do any kind of plugging for any kind of new, like Men Go to Battle, for instance? Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
I can't plug Men Go to Battle exactly yet, but I would say this spring there's going to be more information about where you'll be able to see that. This week, of course, you can see it in Seattle with the Northwest Film Forum. I think this whole week it's playing at 8 p.m. every night, but Film Movement is the distribution company that is going to be distributing it, and I don't know.
It's on DVD in June. It's on their website.
Okay, I didn't see that. So yeah, it's maybe some sort of like more digital or DVD distribution in June, and maybe some theatrical this spring. So
Okay, and
keep your eyes open for it.
yeah, I would say keep an eye on the Film Movement website because they'll probably have all the latest release dates and everything on that.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Jimmy, anything you want to plug?
Oh, I have just Jimothy, just working on projects, and we don't know what the next one is, except keep an eye out on it.
Now, since the website is not up yet or is not currently up, is there like a place that people can go to keep an eye on things?
JimothyPresents.com will take you to New Cops right now, and that'll always forward you to somewhere that'll have something. So JimothyPresents.com.
And we'll put a link to that in the show notes. So JimothyPresents.com, and you can check that out for all the latest Jimothy goodness.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for taking some time to talk with us.
Well, I really appreciate you guys taking the time to interview us.
And the review was great. I mean, it got 5 out of 10, and we were just happy that you got what the movie was.
Yeah. Yep. I'd give it about 5 out of 10.
And the film is still available on nobudge.com, so you guys, if you want to check out the film in its entirety, you can go to nobudge.com and watch the entire thing for free.
Yeah, and that's actually just a really cool website for distributes no budget and low budget movies like ours. It's a really well curated site that Kentucker Oddly puts on.
Yeah, we talk about it a lot on this show.
Oh,
so
cool. Yeah,
we're definitely big fans of No Budge.
Awesome.
How long is it up on No Budge?
I think it'll always be up, but it'll be archived at a certain point, so it might not be as easy to
should be on the front page for a month or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still on the front page as of now, so check it out, New Cops. All right, guys, thank you so much again for coming on the show and talking with us.
Thanks,
right.
Kevin. Thanks, Adam.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks again, Jimmy and Jimothy. Again, you can check out New Cops at nobudge.com, and you can take a look on their YouTube channel too and see some of the shorts, like the webisodes on there, because I gave a couple of them a watch.
Yeah, and I do like the behind the scenes that play afterwards, because they're almost as funny or funnier.
That was one thing I forgot to ask, is that if there was a possibility of turning that into a movie.
Just turn it all, everything.
I would like to see that, like taking that behind the scenes stuff and compiling all of that into a movie, just like they did with New Cops. All right, let's talk about some Night of Cups.
Let's break down Night of Cups. Yeah.
Night of Cups. This is written and directed by Terrence Malick. Or I shouldn't say stars. I should say it features. It features a ridiculous number of people.
Nice, yeah.
We're talking Christian Bale, Cate Blanchett, Natalie Portman, Brian Dennehy, who I thought was dead, Antonio Banderas, Wes Bentley is in there. We got Thomas Lennon.
We got Frida Pinto.
Yes. Joe Latruglio.
Yeah, he was in there for a little bit. Nick Kroll,
yeah.
Got a little profile of Nick Kroll popping into the frame there for a second.
Jason Clarke, Joel Kinnaman.
Yeah.
Clifton Collins Jr.
Kevin Corrigan.
Nick Offerman.
Eight-Head Diner.
Dane DeHaan was in there?
I didn't see him. There was a bunch of people that I didn't see. Like, I didn't see Nick
Shea
Offerman.
Wiggum.
I didn't see Nick Offerman.
Oh, you missed Nick. He had a line.
Really?
Yeah, there was a scene where he was Christian Bale was at like the it looked like he was at kind of like a Wall Street area where it was like a big office building, and there were a whole bunch of people in suits kind of walking around. It was the scene with Nick Offerman. It was kind of like a wide shot, and Nick Offerman was walking with another guy in the background.
Okay. Was that the one where you're talking about playing whatever that video game's called?
Yes.
Oh yeah, okay.
Exactly. Yes. That's exactly.
I didn't notice that was Nick Offerman.
Yep. Yeah, that was Nick Offerman's line.
I did catch Fabio though.
I did not.
He picks up a lady in his arms.
I didn't even remember that.
Yeah, you don't. There's no need to.
I don't remember the Kevin Corrigan.
Dude, man, they they ate at a diner together. It was like him, Teresa Palmer, and Kevin Corrigan. Then they were walking around this like outdoor, like street fair type deal. He didn't say anything. He was just like walking around with them. He was like their third wheel, it looked like.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Yeah. I guess I just didn't recognize him.
No, because you probably clocked out well before that.
Yeah, probably. I probably did, unfortunately. So, I have a synopsis here. A writer indulging in all that Los Angeles and Las Vegas has to offer undertakes a search for love and self.
That's not the synopsis. What about the one with the prince
and
the father?
Yeah. I'm not reading that. Sorry.
Trying to find
I'm
a
not reading
pearl.
that. He's in a search for love and self via a series of adventures with 6 different women.
Yeah. And we're done.
I gotta say, okay, I'll start this off. I think that this was this is the ultimate Terrence Malick movie right here. It felt so self-indulgent, and it was like he was parodying himself.
Yes.
At this point.
Yes.
That's exactly what it was like. And I just couldn't take anything in this movie seriously at all. It was so ridiculous to me. Everything.
Yes.
Everything about it was so ridiculous and over the top and so goofy. Just unbelievably goofy.
It's just
And
it's just Christian Bale walking around, just sullen, just looking at stuff. Like, you know how Ryan was kind of making fun of the 5 minutes that he saw of To the Wonder of Ben Affleck just looking at things? Imagine if he saw this. Like, this is nothing but Christian Bale just looking at things. Like, how many lines does he actually have in this movie? I think he gets in the ocean in a suit more often than he does actually sing.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like...
He's always going to the fucking ocean with a suit.
There's a lot of beach frolicking in this movie.
What the fuck are you doing with your suits, man? How do you keep ending up at the ocean in a suit? What are you looking for? What are you struggling with? He's talking about having this, like, struggle. This is, like, existential crisis or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah. Oh, boo-hoo.
What the fuck is it?
Boo-hoo.
What the fuck are you having problems with?
Well, I think one of the big things is that he's trying to cope with the loss of his brother. Because they briefly mention that.
Yeah, because Wes Bentley plays his brother and they kind of kept some dialogue.
And I think that's at least a chunk of the movie is him trying to deal with that. But the rest of it is really him just wandering around in interesting locations with beautiful women. And I don't know if we're supposed to feel sorry for him or care about him, because I don't.
No, I don't.
Because he's a rich writer that's hanging out globetrotting with beautiful women.
Yeah. This is just, oh my God, it's so vapid. It's so, and the main thing that I can't take is I just can't take his philosophical meandering bullshit, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Oh, it's so atrocious.
Yeah, like the way that this one's divided up, it's like tarot cards, and like each person is a tarot card.
I was so excited when the title card came up and said death. I thought, finally.
Finally, it's over.
Finally, we're going to get through this. But holy shit, death takes forever. And then there was still the portion after it.
The pacing and how this is structured is a little odd, because it doesn't really... Because, like, there will be a title card that comes up, and it says, like... It'll be one of the cards, and then you say, oh, okay, well, that's, like... It'll be like the Hermit or whatever. It'll be like, oh, well, that's Brian Dennehy's character or whatever. But then they move on to another character... before introducing a new title card.
Yeah.
And that other character becomes the focal point, and you're like, okay, well, what is this, a different card, or is it still the Hermit? Are there 2 Hermits? Like, what's happening here?
That's him and his fractured narrative, man. And we use narrative very loosely here. Air quotes.
I think this movie, to me, it felt lazy. Like, it felt like it was like Terrence Malick just having these segments, like vignettes, and just when asked how he's gonna link these together to form a narrative, he was just like, art,
Tarot.
Like there's no connection. There's nothing, and I realized this movie made me realize what really bothers me about his newer movies, like his last 3 movies, is that there's this disconnect between the audience and the character because he doesn't let the characters speak. There's no dialogue. And when there is dialogue, he muffles it. Like he'll either you'll see them talking, but you can't hear him.
Well, yeah,
or he'll put voiceover over.
Yeah, and you could tell there's a number of sequences where people are having arguments and stuff. And when they're having the argument, he has it. There's no audio. There's either music playing or the voiceover's going on at that time, or something else. White noise or whatever you want to call it. And you miss it, which slightly interesting. How he's, kind of distancing the audience from the movie. And I don't really have anything against, like, the structure of the film. I'm okay with it. But I just can't take this vague, pseudo-philosophical shit, just complete bullshit that these people deliver in voiceover. And, of course, they deliver it in whispers and hushed tones. Like, in that way, in his mind, I guess that equates to insight, but it doesn't. It doesn't. Everything is so unbelievably vague, and they're so empty and hollow to just say, "Oh, where are we now?" Like posing these questions, it's irritating beyond belief because they mean nothing. Okay, and just because they're so unbelievably vague that there's this almost infinite number of ways that you can go with it does not make them deep. Okay,
I just found everything to be very frustrating because there were these, like you mentioned, there are these kind of snippets of powerful emotion that's happening on screen, like the arguments and the interactions he had with some of the women, and it's like, I want to experience that. Like, I want to know what's going on there, but there's this disconnect. There's no context. I don't know what they're arguing about, and I don't care. It's like watching the whole movie with cotton balls in your ears. Like, everything's muted.
Well, that would actually muffled. Be better. I would enjoy that a lot more, honestly. Because for me, that's the thing that irritates me the most. The visuals in this one, with most Malick films, that I at least have that going for me. That I'm like, okay, you can at least lock into the visuals and enjoy that, and just kind of hold on to that for the 2 hours that you're stuck here. But even Night of Cups, outside of like some of the architecture, the way that they shoot the architecture, the visuals weren't really doing anything for me either. It's just, like Christian Bale squats down and the camera comes to gets in his face. And then he stands up and the camera gets up. It's like, okay, it's just Christian Bale walking around. That's what we're doing here.
There's a lot of GoPro usage in this one, and there were some, like, I believe some drones were being used as well.
Using some drones. And how many goddamn underwater shots do we have?
That's what I'm saying. Like, the GoPro is in full effect in this movie.
I said this to you before we started recording, but this made me hate cinema for like 2.5 hours. I just hated cinema. I hated movies. I hated film. I fucking hated it.
You just hated the art
form. I hated the art form. I hated it. So much so that I might not watch a movie for like a day or two. I might go on to something else. Okay? I hate this shit. It's fucking laughable. Especially the one sequence where, and all the women that appear in this movie are just, they're barely even sketches of characters. And then you have this Kate Blanchett playing the disappointed ex-wife or whatever you want. And they're having that kind of exchange at the end of the driveway. And she's like, go. And then it's waiting a little bit, and it's him walking and overlooking her, and he's like, stay. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Really? Like, how long did it take you to write this?
I just want to see Terrence Malick make a regular movie again. I just want to see a regular old, just because I watched Days of Heaven this week.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy shit, just make a regular fucking movie again, man. Like, you can do it. You can make something brilliant. But instead, you're making this stuff, and that's fine. If that's what you want to do, whatever, that's fine. If this is what makes you happy, then that's fine. But man, I wish you would make just a normal.
like for me, I like the, I don't know, I like the idea of the experimenting where he's going, like with it kind of feels, it unfolds like a dream. It feels like he's just kind of walking around in dreams and memories, and it's got the fractured narrative and all that kind of stuff going on. I'm okay with that. I like it. It's interesting, but I don't like the emptiness behind it. He has nothing to say.
That's my big issue. I mean, I'm not saying that the actual structure of these films is inherently bad. I think that's probably why I like Tree of Life more than these other two, because at the time it was like, oh, okay, well, this is different. This is new. I'm kind of digging how this is put together. But at this point, it's like, I'm done with it. I'm done. It's this because it's turning into the same thing over and over. Instead of Ben Affleck, we have Christian Bale, or instead of Brad Pitt, we have Christian Bale, and it's like, it feels like it's the same movie. It's the same.
Well, yeah, because
visuals. It's the same poetic gobbledygook that's being spewed out, and it's just just a rehash of everything we've seen before.
Yeah.
Because what's the difference between Ben Affleck's character and Christian Bale's character? Like, what is the difference in those characters?
Yeah.
I can't tell you because I don't feel like I know either of them.
Yeah, it's just, there's so many, like, you don't want love, you want a love experience. I forget which woman that was that said that. I don't know if that was Frida Pinto or who it was. But it's just stuff like that. It's juvenile.
Yeah.
And at any time, someone opens their mouth and the words come out, and it just makes me laugh or eye roll. It's just like, this, you've invested this much money and time to say this. Why? Just write it in your fucking journal. And then, all of a sudden it's like Christian Bale playing tennis.
Just publish a book of poetry or something.
Something. I mean,
all right. That's all I have to say about Night of Cops. I can't recommend this.
No, this is garbage. This is absolute garbage. And then to go with the whole, Teresa Palmer's, the whole stripper thread that they go with. I mean, give me a fucking break.
And it's also frustrating because, there's a lot of great actors in this movie, and
they don't do anything.
I feel like maybe they did shoot a really powerful scene, but we don't get to see that. Like, we're not privy to that.
No. Well, just remember, dreams are nice, but you can't live in them.
That's...
Boom!
Yeah.
Fucking insight.
Knowledge bomb.
Malick. Shit. Open it up.
Getting philosophical up in here.
Rain it down. He's like Steph Curry with knowledge. Shit. But it does it like, number one, none of this stuff really sticks. None of it's memorable. Any of these lines or any of these quote unquote insights. And
yeah, see,
number two, I have a strong feeling that a lot of this stuff was repeated in For the Wonder or To the Wonder. You know what I mean? It's all kind of like the same. It's just like tweaked just a little bit.
Yeah, I think it probably is, but the way that it's written, it's almost impossible to actually retain anything that's being said. Yeah. So,
and then
you wouldn't know.
and the choice to end the movie with the guy saying "begin," huh? Yeah. No one's thought of that before, have they? And I'm just so sick and tired of like Wes Bentley's character. He's like, I want to feel something. I'm so sick and tired of that shit. Have you ever heard someone say that in real life? I just want to feel something.
No, I haven't.
It's just a fucking cliche. Oh my god. Let's stop talking about this movie because I'm getting pissed off. It's fucking trash.
Right, well, let's go ahead and give this a score. What are you going to give Night of Cups?
I give Night of Cups a 2.
I'm going to give Night of Cups I'm sitting somewhere between a 2 and a 2.5 at this point.
I will say this, with no dialogue, and you just cut out Christian Bale like squatting and standing and looking off in the distance and then jumping in the ocean.
He looks out the window a lot.
Yeah,
just looking out that window.
Take out all the underwater shots. It's interesting as a City Symphony film because they go to a lot of places in Los Angeles. Like, you get to see a lot of Los Angeles, and it's filmed wonderfully. you know, the architecture and stuff and inside the buildings and whatnot. But when people show up, everything's terrible.
I'd say just watch the trailer. Like, that's all you need.
Just watch that trailer. And how often does that camera get sidetracked by birds, planes? It's like it's like they strapped a GoPro to a squirrel.
Yeah.
Fuck.
All right. Well, that's Night of Cups.
I just want
Playing
to feel
Select
something,
Cities.
Adam.
I just want to feel.
I just want to feel something. Hard.
Yeah, let's run around this abandoned building. Maybe that'll help me feel.
I got a skateboard. Stand on that skateboard. I'm gonna shadow box you.
Let's wrestle on the beach.
Yeah.
Let's wrestle on the beach. All right. That's Night of Cups. Enough of that business. Let's talk about some of what we've been watching. I guess I can mention New Cops.
New Cops.
I felt pretty much the same way you did about this one. I completely agree with your review. It's an interesting little. I don't even know if it's a short film or a.
So I would say it's an experience. It's an interesting experience. Experiment, maybe.
At first, because so the film starts with the New Cops show, and right off the bat, I was like, "Oh God, this looks like the worst thing ever." But fortunately, it looks better than the actual movie looks better than the fake TV show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was kind of digging. It didn't make me laugh a lot, but I did appreciate the kind of. I would call this an anti-comedy film. I would sort of lump it in with like the Tim and Eric style, or no, better yet, who's the guy that did Buzzard? Like, I would maybe lump it in there.
Oh yeah, I forget his name.
I forget his name too, but I was a big fan of Buzzard. But yes, I would kind of lump it in there with these kind of like no budget, very dry comedies.
Yeah, I mean this is really no budget.
Or even the Mudjacking.
Yeah, there you go.
Those people. Yeah, I would.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's good stuff.
I'd put it into that. So if you saw any of those, liked them, yeah, I would put New Cops in there too. I did like the dream sequences. I thought were really effective, and I liked that. I think it was Jimmy that mentioned that pieces of what's happening in the real world get interpreted into the dream sequences, and I always like that when that happens, where you have these little like tidbits that get pulled in,
Easter eggs, showing up. I enjoyed myself with that one. New Cops, it was fun. I think that the length, being under an hour, perfect.
It helps. Yeah, it definitely benefits.
When there's just the no budget thing, just kind of adds like a certain amount of charm to it. For me, anyways, it plays in nicely with everything. And there's just a number of things that I thought were at first they just made me kind of chuckle, but now when I think of them, they make me laugh.
The tomato chopping, I thought. I was legit. I thought that was just the funniest thing ever. Him chopping that tomato in like the worst manner possible, and then they actually showed it like several times. They showed the cutting board several times afterwards, and it's just like a mess. And it's like, what were you doing there?
What are you even chopping a tomato for? It had the sense of like he just wanted to chop a tomato. Like he wasn't making anything. He's just like, I'm gonna chop up this tomato real quick
and throw it away.
And then the detective, David Maloney, I think his name was, the actor, when he's doing the rapping at the end, and it's terrible. But I do love that at the end of that rap, he acknowledges how difficult it is rapping.
Yeah,
still on the beat though, and he's just saying that it's challenging. I don't know why, but that's the funniest thing to me.
One thing that didn't work for me was actually the New Cops show. Like, I didn't really like it.
I don't understand. I'm so confused by the New Cops TV show, and I think that's why I want more of it, because it confuses me so much. I don't know what it is. It's a guy in a bathrobe.
Yeah.
I know. Is he a cop? Or are they the criminals?
I think they're the cops, but I don't. Yeah, I have
Are
no
they a
idea.
new style of cop? Is that what we're talking about here? Or are they rookie
Well,
cops and this is their downtime? There's so many questions that haven't been answered.
yeah, I don't know, but I would recommend checking it out. New Cops on No Budge.
Cops. I knew her well, which I don't think I mentioned last time. But again, the Criterion that I covered, which I probably came out like a couple of weeks ago. I think I wrote that. So that's up on the site. Check that out. But actually, watching the movie, quite interesting film here. 1965 Italian cinema, like a forgotten director no one really ever talks about, and I guess Criterion's trying to drum up some interest and revive his filmography. And it kind of plays like La Dolce Vita, but with a female central character. She's kind of like a naive young Italian girl that's trying to make it in show business and just kind of shows her, essentially just having a number of relationships and things working out, things not working out. Um, the cinematography is quite great at times. They kind of try everything almost, like a whole bunch of different camera angles, panning shots, dolly work. I mean, just everything. There's a really nice, simple, small sequence where this guy's trying to get a job with this other guy, and he's leaving a party in his car, and he's kind of holding on. And the car exits, and it's a 360 pan of watching the car drive out of the driveway and up the street, and then the camera comes full circle back around to the guy that was left at the party, which I always love those kinds of things. Where the simple, almost meaningless
Yeah,
scene
I love that stuff too. Yeah.
is rendered fantastic through use of the camera. And given the time period, 1965, and this movie, it's kind of, I almost want to say a bit progressive, but then again, I haven't seen a ton of films from the 60s. But from what I have seen, this is the first one of, having a female at the center where she's kind of just having flings with people left and right. They bring up abortion like halfway through. They just kind of bring it up, just kind of dealt with nonchalantly, and then move on. And then she even has a interracial relationship, which I can't really name that many movies that I've seen from the 60s that show that.
Yeah.
Quite good, though. I will say that. I definitely recommend it.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And it worked enough that I do want to see more from him.
And that's I Knew Her Well. That's out now on Criterion. So
Yeah.
how are the bonus features and all that?
Bonus features are pretty good. Decent amount of like background information, stuff like that, cursory like info, which kind of helps you out since I don't really know anything about the director. But I mean the transfer, whew, man, pristine,
Looking good.
Holy shit!
Yeah. I love new transfers or restorations of these older movies because they look so gorgeous. Like it looks like a new movie.
It does.
I saw Ava's Possessions. It was directed by Jordan Galland. This came out just this weekend.
Yeah. All right.
This is the one I mentioned it, I think, last week when we were looking at the things coming out this week. It's a horror comedy about this girl who was possessed by a demon and goes through an exorcism. But the film starts with her just having the exorcism done. And the rest of the movie is basically about her trying to put her life back together after this possession.
Mm-hmm.
And it is sort of like The Hangover in that she doesn't remember anything that happened while she was possessed. She was possessed for a month. So, people are coming up to her and like yelling at her and throwing things on her and hitting her and all of this stuff. And she doesn't know why. Like, she doesn't know what she did while she was possessed. So she's trying to not only put the pieces back together of her life and, just clean up her house, which is completely trashed. And
Yeah.
she's also trying to figure out what happened because she starts to realize, like, something terrible happened while she was possessed. And she has to figure out what that was. And she's like going to this Possessions Anonymous support group every week, and they're kind of helping her cope, and one of the things that they're doing is trying to make sure that she doesn't get repossessed, like it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
Because throughout the movie, she keeps having these visions of the demon trying to get back in, essentially.
Yeah.
Trying to get. And I actually liked this quite a bit. I thought it was a pretty clever movie. It was pretty unique. I thought it was pretty funny. Lou Taylor Pucci's in it, and Dan Fogler's in it, and it was good. I recommend checking it out. It's on VOD right now, so you can check it out if you so desire.
Uh-huh.
The visual style is interesting. It's got the kind of a weird look to it. It tries to be weird, should I say. Like, it uses a lot of kind of like tilted camera angles, sort of like what American Horror Story likes to do, where the camera is always kind of off kilter. And it uses a lot of brightly colored lights. Like, the lighting is really interesting in this. Like, lots of neon lights and just super bright colored bulbs being used.
Super bright colored bulbs.
Yep.
All over.
And it's got a really cool cover, too. I'm loving the poster for this one.
You know about them posters.
Yeah, it looks like an old... the cover, the poster's like modeled after the book that she has to read in her support group. And it looks like an old book from like the 60s or 70s.
I like the premise of this. It's such a great premise for a movie.
Yeah, because there's like a mystery element
Do you
as well.
Do they capitalize on that potential to the fullest, or close enough?
I think so. Like, I was pleased with the twist. Like, I thought that the twist worked for me. The resolution, what you find out, it's not earth-shattering. It's not completely unpredictable. Like, you could probably predict how it's gonna play out, but it was interesting nonetheless. And I thought that they did a lot of smart things in the writing to, like, there were like several callbacks on things that were pointed out earlier on, and I think that's always a smart thing to do when you're writing. So yeah, it worked for me.
Yeah, all right.
Ava's Possessions is the name, so yeah, check it out.
Okay. The newest unsung indie that I wrote, John's at 12th Street, a little documentary by Vanessa McDonald from 2014. This is just essentially like a slice of life documentary type deal. It has the looks very simplistic. It's just her with a camera at this restaurant, John's Italian restaurant.
That's like on my block, right?
Is it?
I've eaten there like 5 times.
Have you?
Yeah.
You gotta watch this then.
They're cash only. They're cash only there, which always bothers me. Every time I go there, I'm like, oh man, we get some fettuccine, and it's like cash only. It's like, come on.
Get some fucking cash then. It's right at your house.
They have an ATM.
There you go.
They have an ATM in the restaurant, though. If you want to check out John's.
I hear everything that you're saying, and none of those sound like problems to me. It sounds like you had a problem, but then you immediately stated a solution, so there should be no issues whatsoever.
Well, also you can get, at least where I live, I can have it delivered to me.
They show all that in this movie.
Oh, do they?
They go. It's fantastic in the way that it's set up. Is it starts off, like before opening. It's just her in the kitchen, and the restaurant manager, he's dealing with some things like the ATM that you talked about. Probably the one you even used, man. And he's having his doors looked at, and it's just kind of showing that and get the prep work and everything. And then, the staff comes in and it starts to interact with them a little bit. But then, like, as the movie goes on, the camera, instead of being like on the outside, just kind of like watching things, documenting and everything, it kind of gets involved, and it starts interacting with, like, the employees start talking straight into the camera, and it's almost like your first day of work where they're telling you like how it is to work there and how it is to work with the people that own the place, and it starts to interact with the actual patrons that come into the restaurant, and they give you history and how many times they've eaten there, and like all these things, and it just like completely immerses you in the restaurant. And it's just...
This is so crazy. I can't believe that this is... I didn't know I didn't put two and two together. Like, I didn't read the synopsis and I didn't read your article on
it's
it.
just like it feels like, and it kind of takes that. It's kind of set up that way where it starts out at the beginning of the day before it opens, and then at the end is when it closes up shop and the day's over. So it's like a day in the life of Johnson 12th Street.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to watch this, and my girlfriend's definitely gonna, cause she likes this place a lot. So.
And it's one of those things. It gives you a little bit of everything. It gives you like in the kitchen stuff, it's stuff with the employees, stuff with the people that come in and actually, come and eat there, and it talks with the owners. But it's all within just working at the restaurant. It's not, it's not like sit down interviews with people. It's just, camera you get like pulled into conversations with people that are coming and standing at the bar. It's that type of thing going on.
Awesome. Well,
it's fantastic. It's on Fandor. You can watch.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be watching this today because this is crazy.
And
this was actually one of the first restaurants after we moved here. This was one of the first places we ate at because it was like really close, and I was jonesing for some Italian.
And
so we just.
I wanted to ask you if you've ever been there. And
oh yeah,
the thing is it made me, number one, it made me want to work in a restaurant again, like get back in a kitchen. It made me want to cook big time. It made me want to just eat there in general. Like I wanted to stop watching the movie and just go to John's and have food. It's just
what I might end up doing is watching this and then going to John's.
That's what you should do.
Exactly what you crazy. Should do.
It's highly recommend it. There's also in the review that's on the site. There's it's also on Vimeo on demand.
Oh, okay.
Watch it that way too if you don't have Fandor.
So if you don't have Fandor, you can check it out on Vimeo on demand. John's of 12th Street, check it out. And go to the restaurant too if you're in the area.
Which we might have to do next time I'm up.
Oh yeah, definitely. I saw Road Games. This is another new one that came out this weekend, directed by Abner Pastol. This is it's not a remake of the 1981 classic. I call it a classic because I love it so much. With Stacy Keach. It's a French film, although most of it is in English. Most of the dialogue's in English because it's about I think he is from the UK, and he's kind of traveling through Europe, and he happens upon this girl who gets in a fight with her significant other, and then the two of them start kind of just hitchhiking through the country, and they eventually learn that there is supposedly a serial killer on the loose in the area. So they're trying to be very careful about who they catch rides from and stuff, and they eventually go to the home of this couple, one of whom is played by Barbara Crampton, which I thought was interesting. And the other one is a guy who you would probably recognize. His name is Frédéric Perot. He was in that French crime thriller Police, and he was also in Populaire. He was also in the TV series The Returned. I know you didn't see that, but it was...
I have seen The Returned.
Oh, you have?
Oh, yeah, man. All about Returned.
Oh, okay. Well, he's in that, too.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he plays the husband. And they start to act a little weird, and they get a little concerned about this couple, and then they kind of... Things progress from there and obviously get violent. The interesting thing is it's called Road Games, but there's really not... until you see the end of the movie, until you find out like exactly what's going on and experience the twist, it doesn't really have much meaning because pretty much the whole movie takes place in this house. At one point I looked at the runtime and I was at 50 minutes and it was still taking place in the house. Like there were no road games to be had. So the title's a little misleading. I thought this was okay. I didn't love it. There's some things that happen in this plot that are a little bit incoherent. Like they don't make a whole lot of sense. Like there's another character that comes along at one point and he's sort of a red herring, but at the same time he's like another like kind of crazy person that gets thrown into the mix, and you're just like, wait a minute. He's not the killer, but he's somebody, and it's just it gets a little overly convoluted, I think, and the twist is interesting though. I didn't initially see it coming, so I definitely appreciated that aspect of it. And it's I would say it's a light recommend for me. It's not great, but it is entertaining. And again, it's called Road Games.
Road Games.
Although I will say that the 1981 Australian Road Games is a million times better.
See, and that's what I thought, because I saw that you saw this, and I thought, oh, they remade Road Games.
I thought it was going to be a remake, but it's not.
Were you watching it under that assumption? Like, I'm going to watch this remake of Road Games.
I was pretty sure it wasn't, because when I first saw that it was a thing, I was like, oh god, they remade Road Games. But then I don't know if it was a poster, maybe I even saw a trailer, and so I knew going into it that it was not.
Yeah. Okay. Alright.
I don't think it should have been called Road Games, though, just because...
It doesn't sound like there's that many games playing out on roads.
It's a horror movie. It's going to cause confusion. People are going to go into it thinking that it is a remake.
It's one of those French games.
Yeah.
French word games.
I like French horror movies, though. I think French horror movies are they definitely have their own style to them. They're an interesting bunch.
Well, I watched a French movie, too. Mine's not a French horror, though. I watched Kung Fu Master from 1988, and it's
oh boy,
little Varda going on. The title comes from the 15-year-old boy who's actually Varda's son. He's in there. He plays a game called Kung Fu Master. It's his favorite game to play. Little 15-year-old boy, and the whole story of this movie is a 40-year-old woman, Jane Birkin, falls in love with the 15-year-old boy. So it's like reverse. What's that movie, Lolita? Is that what that's going? Yeah, kind of like that going on. It starts off fantastic, wonderful opening to it, which is Varda's son, little 15-year-old kid dressed up like a kung fu fighter, diagonal Dollywood just scrolling down the sidewalk, and you just got the sound effects of the game playing, and he's moving like a little game figure, and he's fighting people like a real life reenactment of the game Kung Fu Master. So it starts off delightful, but I gotta say the story itself, outside of like the initial like, oh man, this is kind of taboo, there's not much really going on between this love affair. The love affair really doesn't make any sense, and you're not exactly sure why she's gotten into this situation, what she sees in the boy, and occasionally they'll throw in some like terrible voiceover where she, like, at first the voiceover is just essentially consists of her pointing things out that are happening on the screen, so it's completely useless and unnecessary. And then further on down the road, it kind of travels down the path of like trying to figure things out, maybe gaining a little insight, but it still doesn't give you much. And you really had to suspend your disbelief in this movie because it just nonsensical things happen the more and more that this goes on. And it feels like they're attempting to explore something, but I have no idea what they're exploring at all, outside of it just being a story of a 40-year-old falling in love with a 15-year-old.
Okay.
It looks great. It looks great.
That's Kung Fu Master. I saw Days of Heaven.
Oh.
Finally watched this classic Terrence Malick film from 1978, starring Richard Gere and Brooke Adams.
Oh.
And Sam Shepard.
You gotta get that Sam Shepard in there.
Almost unrecognizable, actually. When I saw when his character was first introduced, I was like, holy shit. Like, I didn't even recognize him.
It's a young Sam Shepard.
But like Richard Gere looks the exact same.
Yeah, Richard Gere is weird though.
But Sam Shepard, and I also recognized Linda Manns, the little girl.
Oh yeah.
I immediately knew her from Gummo. Like, I immediately knew, oh, that's the mom from Gummo. Probably the voiceover had a lot to do with that, because I recognized her voice as soon as I saw her, and easily was like, that's the mom from Gummo.
Nailed it.
Doing her weightlifting in front of the mirror and the weird dances and stuff.
So that was all that was playing through your head while watching this.
Gummo, yeah.
Gotcha.
Gummo. The whole movie of Gummo basically played through my head as I was watching this. I gotta say that this is probably my favorite Terrence Malick film. Now, I haven't watched The Thin Red Line for a long time, so
Yeah.
I don't know how those two would compare, but man, woo!
It's fantastic, isn't it?
This was a visual feast for thine eyes.
Oh man, it's like a smorgasbord.
Incredible, absolutely incredible.
Oh,
Oh my god, like probably one of the most visually astounding movies I've ever seen.
nice.
It's up there. I mean, it was just gorgeous. Holy crap. Story-wise, it didn't seem like it was going to be something that grabbed me right off the bat, but I eventually warmed up to these characters. I didn't think that Richard Gere was a particularly likable or complex character. He seemed like kind of a buffoon in a lot of ways. But, yeah, Brooke Adams' character I thought was a lot more complex, and I kind of appreciated that we spent a little more time with her than Richard Gere. But yeah, I liked this movie quite a bit. I thought it was pretty excellent, and the end. I mean, it was kind of a gut punch there at the end. As soon as when the grasshoppers took over.
Oh yeah.
And the fire broke out.
Well, that fire
That's
sequence.
intense.
That fire sequence.
Intense. I was like, holy shit! This is crazy. Like that fire was real, and I mean, it was like out of control.
It seemed like it, didn't it?
Yeah,
It's
it
just
was
wild and crazy times back then. Just doing whatever you want to do for the sake of cinema.
Yeah,
You get away with so much shit back then.
this definitely had a Bonnie and Clyde vibe to it.
Well, if that's what you're looking for, you should check out Badlands. Or you already saw Badlands, didn't you?
I did.
Okay,
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, Badlands has a bit of a Bonnie and Clyde vibe too, but I actually liked this. I think I liked this more than Badlands overall.
I think for me, until I rewatch Thin Red Line, Days of Heaven is my favorite.
Yeah,
Gotta say.
yeah. The Morricone score very very prominent throughout, which I liked for the most part. I thought they reused a lot of the music, just a little bit too much.
What, like in Knight of Cups?
Yeah. They did that a lot more back in the 70s, and probably even I'd say the 60s and further back. They used a lot of the same music, like they repeated the music a lot. That's just something you don't see a whole lot nowadays, where just music repeats.
Yeah.
But either way, I mean, it was still a great movie. So yeah, definitely recommend Days of Heaven. This is on Criterion, so it looks gorgeous.
Oh boy. I saw Bridge of Spies.
Okay.
So some solid Steven Spielberg work going on here, in the sense that it's basic as all hell. It's just straightforward as a motherfucker. It's decent Hollywood, like empty calorie type fare, where you're just like, okay, we're just full on narrative here. Simple story. We're not really dealing with complex themes. None of that business. It's just this person says this person does this action. There's a consequence, so this person does this. It's just straightforward. Okay. And when it comes down to that, it's a good execution of that. So I did, I gotta say I enjoyed myself for the most part. It's not something that's really memorable in any way, shape, or form. Some of the sequences, some of the seeds, the cinematography, the way they filmed it, looked pretty good. There's the initial tailing where they're chasing Ryan Lance's character. He plays the Russian spy, or the execution of that's pretty fantastic. When they're in Germany and there's the other American that gets caught, Frederick Pryor, when he's crossing the yet to be finished Berlin Wall. Everything done there is pretty great. But I mean, it's just, there's like a hint of complex issues or topics at the beginning, where it's kind of, so they tap Hanks, he's like an insurance lawyer, and they're like, okay, well, we have this spy, we have to show that he's getting a fair shake. So they're like, Hanks, his name's not Tom Hanks in the movie, but for the sake of making it easier for me,
Yeah.
they're like, can you represent him? Like, just do a decent enough job that it looks like he got a fair deal, and then, but it's a foregone conclusion that boom, he's getting the death penalty. Okay, we just got to make this look good. So, but he kind of gets caught up into it because the Constitution, he sticks to his principles because he's Tom Hanks and this is Hollywood. So he takes it a bit further, and it has some implications and some ramifications. And of course, one of our guys get caught and all that stuff. But then there comes a point that once the American gets caught on the Soviet side of things, it just becomes a negotiation where he's got to go over and let's trade him, and everything just gets even simpler, and it just kind of falls apart towards the end. And there's some really terrible things that happen in this movie. Just like talking about like terrible in the sense that it's like this is like Bush League type stuff. This is amateurish.
You mean like as far as the filmmaking?
Yeah, there's a sequence where the Hanks is on the train and some kids try and scamper over the Berlin Wall and they're shot down, and he's just appalled. He's like, "Oh my God, what is happening?" And then when he finally gets back home and people come to love him again because they're reading the newspaper and they keep looking up and they're like, "Oh, it's the guy that's in the newspaper. He did good things." And they see Tom Hanks, and Tom Hanks looks out the window, and there's some kids scampering across, and Spielberg swells up the music. The music's fucking terrible in this movie. Swells it up like, oh my God, are they going to get shot? And of course they don't get shot. They're in America. But, they try and play it up like, oh my God. It's like these mirrored images. Look how different we are. Maybe it's just like, come on. There's no need for this. We get it. Different countries.
Yeah, that sounds pretty lame.
Yeah, there's a number of things that are extremely lame in this movie. But it's all right. It's cheesy as all hell, but it's engaging enough for the time being while you're watching it.
Okay, that's Bridge of Spies. Is that on like Netflix now or something?
It's on a DVD, which you can get through the mail.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
The only other one I'll mention this week is a film called Thank You for Playing. This is a documentary. It's actually not out yet. It comes out March 29th, I believe. And it's a documentary about a game designer by the name of Ryan Green, who he's a video game designer, and his son he has cancer, and he, as a way to sort of cope with it and sort of deal with it, and he decides to make a game about it. And the game's called That Dragon Cancer. The game's out now, by the way. It came out a few weeks ago. And this documentary just kind of chronicles the process of making the game and how people feel about the game. And then also the journey that, this family is taking while their son is, being afflicted with, he has tumors in his brain.
Yeah.
And I had a feeling, I didn't play the game. I watched one video online on YouTube, like a Let's Play of the game, just, to see what it was like.
Yeah.
And I knew just from watching that Let's Play that I didn't want to put myself through that. Although I absolutely support and I almost bought it just to buy it with no intention on playing it.
Yeah.
And I may still do that. Just to support the idea of the fact that, and this is something that is explored in the documentary, that, video games aren't just mindless sources of entertainment. I mean, they have the ability to be a true art form. They have the ability to convey a message, and they have the ability to evoke true emotion in someone.
Yeah.
And I think that for a lot of people that, aren't gamers or former gamers or don't understand video games, I think that that's something that people need to understand, that video games are more than just murder simulators. And so this was kind of a bittersweet film for me. I mean, in one aspect, it completely wrecked me. This movie, it will wreck you. emotionally. Like there's just no doubt about it. You will be sobbing during this movie because it is really, really difficult. Because the kid he's such a sweet kid, and he's 5 years old, and he's like struggling through this. But also, one of the things that really got me is there's a scene where they go to PAX Prime, which is a big video game convention. There's several of them that are held around the country throughout the year, and they show the game off at PAX Prime, and they kind of have a hidden camera that is focused on people playing the game. And it was just a really powerful moment where like Brian Green is watching people play the game, and we're watching him watching the people, and we're also watching the people playing the game, and it was just like you could see like the tears like welling up as the people would be playing the game. And it was just such an emotional moment in the film, and I really appreciated that they put that in there. And then his response, like at one point he just breaks down, like he just like can't even handle it, so he has to like excuse himself, and he just like breaks down over what's happening. And it's definitely a really powerful film that will just completely destroy you emotionally, but it's worth seeing. The way that like the film itself is pretty standard documentary. Yeah. They pretty much just shoot. Like there's not a whole lot of there's no injection of the filmmakers whatsoever. There's no voiceover. There's nothing like that. There's little bits of informative text that come up every now and then, but only when it's absolutely necessary. Yeah. So it's, for the most part, just like cinema verite style footage, and it's very well put together. So I do recommend checking this out. Called Thank You for Playing, and it will be out the end of this month.
All right.
And the game is out now. It's called That Dragon Cancer,
which I've heard of. I just saw something about that recently. I forget what it was.
Yeah, it got some buzz. It was getting some buzz just for what it was. So.
All right. Well, that's all I got.
Okay. Let's go ahead and talk about some predictions. Last week, London Has Fallen. You said 4. I said 23. Actual 25. We do have a review for that up on the site. Blake gave that a 3 out of 10. He did not like that one. Knight of Cups, you said 68. I said 59. Actual 47. I'm kind of glad that people are not loving this one and not buying into the BS. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, you said 54. I said 62. Actual 60.
Okay.
And finally, Zootopia, you said 78. I said 81. Actual 98.
Damn.
Yeah. Zootopia.
Damn.
I'll check it out. I'll check it out at some point. Next week, we have 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Oh.
What do you think about this one?
I'm thinking like a 70.
Are you interested?
Not really. I mean, in a sense, yes, because I caught just enough of it that the neurotic portion of me is like, well, I have to know what happens.
Yeah.
I have to. But I'm not necessarily interested. I just want someone to tell me what happens.
I could probably do that. I'll go see it.
All right.
I'm going to say 76 on this one. I think I like the idea of, like, I like the marketing behind this. Because first of all, there's nothing. There were no news, no nothing about this movie until the first teaser trailer dropped. And even with subsequent trailers, they don't show you really anything. So it's still kind of a mystery as to what this movie's all about.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in that. And I also am interested in seeing Dan Trachtenberg's first movie because I was a big fan of the Totally Rad show when that was on. The Brothers Grimsby. This is the new Sacha Baron Cohen.
Ooh.
This looks terrible to me. I'm gonna say 40. Wait, that's probably even too high. I'll say 42.
I'm gonna say 38.
It just, I saw one trailer and I was like, nah, absolutely not. It looks stupid. In limited release next week, I think these are limited release, we have The Young Messiah. I think that's about the young JC.
The old young JC.
Back in his wild and crazy teen years.
Oh,
He turned so much water into wine during that time.
that's
He's always getting in trouble.
such a weird power to have.
The Perfect Match. It's a rom-com. We have
sounds like
we have Eye in the Sky. I think it's about drones with Aaron Paul and Helen Mirren.
Okay.
My Name is Doris. That's another rom-com with Sally Field.
Okay.
Looks that does not appeal to me whatsoever. I saw a couple trailers for that one and I was like, nope. Remember, this is the new Adam Egoyan
Okay.
one with Christopher Plummer,
Okay.
Martin Landau.
Yeah.
It's about him hunting a Nazi.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Sounds serious.
Hyena Road. This is a military action film.
Militarized hyenas.
Looks pretty bad. I don't know if it was mechanized hyenas.
Militarized mechanized hyenas. That would be.
Oh boy.
Oh, I'd watch it. I'd watch that.
Certain Woman with Laura Dern and Michelle Williams.
Okay.
Not really familiar with that one. The Legend of Barney Thompson with Robert Carlyle and Emma Thompson.
Sure.
Creative Control. This is the black and white sci-fi
Finally,
film.
something that actually sounds relatively interesting.
It's decent. It's not great.
Okay.
I like that it takes place 5 minutes in the future. There's just something about that I like. Like it's a sci-fi movie, but it's like barely. It's like barely a sci-fi movie.
Okay.
It's interesting. City of Gold. Not familiar with that at all. It's a documentary, I guess. I'm not sure what it's about. Marguerite. I feel like that already came out. Me, Him, Her, which is Max Landis.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's his directorial debut.
Oh, fuck.
Rise of the Legend. It looks like a martial arts film. Lolo? Looks like a rom-com, I'm guessing. Julie Delpy. God, there's a lot of stuff. Admiral, The Automatic Hate, Boom Bust Boom, which I don't know what that is. Terry Jones presents
Okay.
with John Cusack. No idea. Backgammon. Saw a trailer for that. Looks like could be interesting. And it's pretty much it.
Okay. All right.
Wow, a lot of stuff. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Jeez. VOD next week. We got You're Killing Me and Excess Flesh. Those both come out on Tuesday. And then Friday we have Hyena Road.
Okay.
On Blu-ray next week.
Cool.
See what we got on the old Blu-ray from. We got Howard the Duck getting a Blu-ray release.
Sure. Why not?
I've been meaning to go back and watch that again. Just 'cause it's been years. Xanadu getting a Blu-ray release.
Oh my goodness.
Classic. Xanadu. Got the Peanuts movie. We got Macbeth.
All right.
Got
All right.
Species 2.
I didn't know there was a Species too.
Heck yeah, man. And then there's also a Blu-ray double pack of Species 3 and Species The Awakening.
Holy shit.
Victor Frankenstein comes out. That looks like garbage.
What bonus pack do you get with that?
Nothing.
Sounds about
Nothing.
right.
In the Heart of the Sea comes out.
Okay.
Victoria comes out.
All right.
I liked Victoria. You did not.
I didn't know.
The Forbidden Room, the Guy Madden one.
Learn how to take a bath.
Yeah, step-by-step instructions on that. The Tribe comes out.
Okay. Man, there's a lot of stuff coming out. Jesus.
I know. I actually have the Tribe Blu-ray in my hands right now. And you know how, maybe you don't, but Drafthouse Films does reversible covers on all their Blu-rays. And the reverse cover for The Tribe is freaking awesome. I love it. I'll send you a picture because it's really
I
cool.
don't want a picture of it.
I haven't checked this out yet on Blu-ray. I haven't looked at the... It does have a number of interesting special features that I'm going to check out. So We'll have a Blu-ray review of that up this week, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it as far as new releases. What's on the Criterion front?
We have one Criterion, and that is Jacques Rivette finally coming to America. His films coming out on Criterion. First one getting his directorial debut from 1961. So you can finally check that out. Which I think this has been on Hulu Plus for a little bit.
The film's called Paris Belongs to Us.
Correct. Yes, I guess that helps.
Did you get that, by the way?
No, I didn't get it
What?
yet. That's why I asked you if you sent it. I'm like, it usually doesn't take more than a week.
Oh yeah, you asked me yesterday and today's Sunday. Well, it should be there tomorrow, I'd say at the latest. I sent it last week. I sent it on like Monday.
I know, that's what I mean.
Yeah, that's weird.
Weekends when I have time to do this. I don't have
Yeah, I
time
know.
during the week.
All right, well, I think that is going to wrap it up for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can send us your questions and topics to podcast@filmpulse.net. You can follow us on Twitter @FilmPulseNet and @FilmPulseKevin. And if you have a minute, take a look at our Patreon page, patreon.com/FilmPulse. Consider helping us out by becoming a subscriber. We thank you very much for doing that. For Kevin Rickstraw, my name's Adam Patterson. We'll see you next week.